Hey guys, Amanda Leeds here. Welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I thought I'd share with you one of my passions. Can you guess what it is? Books. So in this video I'm going to be sharing with you why I read, how I read, when I read, and I'll also share 2 books that I'd recommend you read. I love reading because I love that when I read a fiction book it can take me to a place away and I'm just like living in someone else's world. But I also love reading because of the personal development that can come from it when I read books that will teach me lessons that have taken people like 20, 30, 40 years to learn. So I think as a person it's such a good way to learn. Sometimes you can't afford to have the mentors that are in books. So them having a book that they've written, sat down and written and just like poured out all their experiences into this book, and you can just pick that up and read it and learn. I think it's just incredible. So that's why I love to read, because you can get so much from sitting and just reading something for a couple of hours that has taken someone years and years and years to learn. So that's my main reason for my love of reading. My favourite time to read a physical copy of a book is when I go away, because usually when I go on holiday it's just me and my husband and I have all the time in the world to just sit down and get immersed in a book. But when I'm home, because it's just busy with the kids and just daily life, I tend to listen to audiobooks, and I usually listen to audiobooks when I'm driving around. Just whenever I get a chance to listen, I'll listen, or when I'm cleaning the house. So that's how I usually listen, and I think audiobooks are really good. If you're not into like reading a physical book, then I'd really recommend Audible, because yeah, that's just a really good way to just listen and soak in whilst you're doing other things or whilst you're just like sitting and relaxing. So that's how I read. So I know this is like an obvious recommendation, but I must say, okay, I can't hide away from the fact that this book is really good. I think the principles that are taught in this book are brilliant, and I think that it makes it accessible for anyone to be able to get into property and reach financial freedom by just implementing the lessons taught in this book. So if you're interested in property and you don't have to know anything about property, but I think if you read this, you'll get a good overview and a good sort of how-to into how to get started. So I would 100% recommend this. So this is one of my all-time favorite books, Buy Low Rent High by Samuel Leeds. That's available on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure it's also on Audible if you prefer to listen to that. My next favorite book is Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. I actually listened to this on Audible, and I'm actually planning on listening to it again because the book was phenomenal. I learned so much from it. But I mean, it kind of says it in the title. He's just talking about how you shouldn't live an average life. You're either obsessed or you're average. There's no in between. So you shouldn't settle for a life that's mediocre. You should always give 100% at everything that you do and be the best. So that's this book. I've actually got this one quote from this that was like, oh, the best thing. It just kind of gave me a kick up the ass a bit. That Grant Cardone said. He said, "You'll not find the path to your purpose in your comfort zone." And I was just like, wow, that's so deep. It's so true, because a lot of times when you're nervous and uncomfortable with doing something, it's because it's stretching you, it's because it's outside of your comfort zone. So if you constantly stay in that, you're not going to grow as a person ever. And yeah, for me, it was just like, wow, I've been getting so far this year some opportunities where I'm like, oh goodness, like I'm so scared, and it freaks me out a bit. But then I think back to this quote of, I won't find the path to my purpose in my comfort zone. I'm not going to reach greater heights just being in my comfort zone. So I just think it's a really good book. I don't want to mess it up by saying anything that's not really going to sell it, or like messing up what he said, because he says it best. But I'd recommend it like 100%. Life-changing book. Really, really good for personal growth and personal development. So now I've shared 2 of my all-time favourite books. I'm also going to share what I'm currently reading. So at the moment, my current read is The Compound Effect by Darren. I'm actually reading the physical copy of this book because it does have exercises throughout. And sometimes when I'm listening on Audible, it's hard when there's exercises because I might be driving and I can't actually do it. But I love having the book because when there's the exercises, I actually sort of finish the chapter, do the exercise, and then I'll resume reading. So yeah, I love that about this book. I'd recommend this book so far based on what I've read, because I think with the exercises that you do, it's quite easy to implement the changes into your life. But the essence of the book so far is that the small decisions that we make daily are responsible for the biggest changes in our lives. When you're looking at any goals that you have, you sort of have to have the bigger goal in mind, but then also write down the small daily actions that you need to take in order to achieve that goal, to keep you on track. So that's kind of a gist of what it teaches, but I'd really recommend it because so far I've been loving it. It just kind of shows you that, yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not just going to be an overnight success. One example that he uses in the book is that people look at superstars or artists or whoever and think they've just got this supernatural power and that's why they're so successful and so big. But no, that person's probably put in a lot of work to get to where they are. Those people aren't supernatural, have a special power, or know something that other people don't know. They've just mastered the art of doing those daily small things that are gonna get them to achieve their greater goal in the end. So I think that is just a really good message and a really good practical book to read, so I definitely recommend that. So moving on from that, next on my reading list, I'm planning on reading The Best Year of Your Life by Michael Hyatt. This book was actually recommended in The Compound Effect, so I suspect it's going to be really good and it will probably complement a lot of the things that I've been reading in The Compound Effect. So I'm looking forward to that, and that one is more so sort of teaching you on goal setting to achieve the goals that you've set. Yeah, simply. Goal setting and designing your best year. So I'm just intrigued. I haven't really read too much of what it's about because I'm just going to go in and read it with an open mind. So yeah, so that's next on my list. I feel like the older that I'm getting, I'm really understanding the value of books and appreciating them. I've read books by Jim Rohn, who has actually passed away now, I think a few years ago, but the wealth of knowledge that are in his books are just insane. And I think to be able to read that at my age and be like able to implement things like that, I think it's impressive, because when he was writing those books, he was probably quite a lot older. And I think just having the gift of having someone's knowledge who's written them ahead of the age that you are at is really good, because at this age now, I'm probably more advanced than I would be if I hadn't read the books. So I really love reading books for that reason. And yeah, I'm constantly always looking for new good books to read. So if you've got any recommendations, then please comment them down below and I will definitely check them out. So yeah, anyway, thank you for sitting down with me and listening to this video if you got to the end. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye.